Delusion. Delulu, that's what we're talking about today. Over the past 12 years, helping men end their secret out-of-control behaviors with porn, sex, and masturbation, one of the things that has held a lot of men back from achieving success in life, in their relationships, in their finances, even in their spiritual and emotional life, after they have overcome their behavior, is a lack of delusion. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. See, here's what happens. When you've dealt with an out of control behavior, you have been pummeled by shame, by guilt. You've been pummeled by the secrecy, by self-loathing, by all those recurring thoughts, right? You go back and you think of all the times that you were caught, all the times you told yourself you were going to do something and you didn't do it. Oh, this is the last time. You are pummeled by the idea, if you're more religious, that you are a sinner. You are destroyed by the idea that something is inherently wrong with you, that you are broken. And remember, because you dealt with a secret out of control behavior, you weren't like drinking and stumbling, pissing yourself on a Saturday night or a Tuesday morning. This was secret. Nobody knew you were dealing with it. This feeling of inherent failure, of being broken, being a sinner, being a bad, horrible, broken person, destroyed your self-esteem. It stayed, it festered for so long. Now, any recovery program worth its salt will obviously help you rebuild your self-image and your confidence. But here's the thing. Recovery programs are not incentivized to take you beyond control of your behavior. That's where rebooting comes in. I didn't want to just recover. I didn't want to get back the shit I lost. The shit I lost was basic, right? It was college, it was friends, it was relationships. I didn't want to recover that level. I wanted to go to the next level because I had wasted so many years of my life. So let's say if you were 25 when you realized you were addicted and got help, and now you are 45, do you really want to recover 25-year-old shit? No, you don't. You want all the things that you missed. You want the net worth. You want the nice house. You want the intimate long-term relationship. You want all of those things. You want to start at that point, right? But recovery doesn't show you how to do that. Once your insurance is out, once they're like, good, go stay with this one woman, keep some really square friends, just stay out of trouble, go to church, be a good boy, be a good girl, and live a very basic ass life. No, you want to thrive, don't you? That's what I wanted. Oh, I wanted it all. I wanted everything. I wanted to fly, even though I was crippled by my out of control behavior. I was crippled spiritually, emotionally, mentally, financially. I still wanted to fly. And so what you have to do is you have to build a fence around your fragile self-esteem, which has been rebuilt, but it's been rebuilt through the process of recovery. Many of you may have rebuilt it through the 12 steps, right? It's like, yeah, it's shaky. It can be pushed down anytime. Don't get me wrong. It's strong if you stay in the right community, if you have accountability and so on and so forth. But if you're trying to build a business, if you're trying to date beautiful women, if you're trying to live an extraordinary life and have an impact outside of the sphere of addiction recovery, oh, the world is going to smash your self-esteem. And even your recovery friends, your sponsors, your therapists, all of them will tell you, hey, brother, sister, you are at risk for a relapse if you start doing this risky stuff, right? You want to get into this business, you do know that's very stressful and it's rife with triggers, right? So again, you build a fence around this self-esteem, and that fence is built by Delulu. That is the material. The material for the fence that you use to build the fence is delusion. I mean it. It has to be delusion because nobody can tell you otherwise. And here's the barometer to know that your delusion is okay. There are two things only. Number one, if your delusion is not hurting other people or hurting you. And number two, if you are making progress in the thing that you are delusional about. Number one, if your Delulu is not hurting you or other people, other living beings to be clear, and if you are making progress in that thing you are Delulu about, then don't give a fuck about anything. Be delusional. You have to be unreasonable. You can do it. You are going to burn all the bridges. You are going to take all the risks, right? I remember in the early days of Porn Reboot, God, I was having a rough time. I was cranking like 18, 20-hour days. I had lost so much weight because I was barely eating. I was subsisting off caffeine. It was crazy. It was just, I would work out. I would work all day. I would scream in my car. I was trying to stop my YouTube channel. I was responding to clients. I was writing blog posts. I was learning SEO. I was learning copywriting. I was getting certifications to trauma-informed coaching, addiction recovery. I was doing all sorts of things while I was still maintaining the later stages of my reboot. It was intense. And then one day, there's a guy called Ramit Sethi. He wrote a book and he has a show on Netflix called I Will Teach You to Be Rich. And this got to be like 13 years ago or some shit like that. I sent this dude an email because he'd responded one night. I was up at like 2 a.m. Ramit was up too. He's like, I will respond to anybody who's up at this time. So I told him my situation. I was like, hey, man, I am running. Oh, by the way, I was also running a large direct sales organization, a door-to-door sales organization, which is how I was funding myself. I was like, I'm in this quandary. I need to decide whether to go all in on this porn addiction reboot thing that I have no example of. Like, there's no sample in the marketplace. There's nobody doing what I'm doing. There's sex addiction rehabs, but nobody's doing anything on porn addiction. Or I have to go all in, or I have to do this, and I also have to do the door-to-door sales thing. Ramit responded to me and he said, if I were you, he was like, I would just work for a few more years, really focus on the sales thing because you already have an income. Business is not easy, blah, blah, blah. And, just take your time to build it. This devastated me, to be honest, because I had a lot of respect for Ramit Sethi. I still do. But that was when I decided I was done with him, because after thinking long and hard, there was so much doubt that came in that I realized that I hadn't felt this level of doubt since I was an addict. It was literally making me just impacting that old poor self-esteem. Like, oh, you can't do this, you can't do. And I was like, I see what I did. I allowed my fence of Delulu to break. I allowed it to break. And not only did I allow it to break, I allowed somebody else who was a rational person to step in and give me feedback. When your self-esteem has been destroyed, when you have lived a past of self-loathing, when you have had to do so much to build yourself up, you cannot allow the rational and the logical into your life when it comes to your dreams. You must be delusional, of course, as long as it is not hurting you, it is not hurting others, and you are making progress. I was making progress. The progress was not as fast as I hoped it would be, but it was progress nonetheless. I was not hurting or harming myself or others. Arguably, I was harming my body, but it was no different from anybody starting a business, right, who was serious about it. That is what is missing. Too many of you are listening to the rational voices in your life. The rational voices that are programmed by society, that are programmed by culture and religion. Anytime you look at anything in life, in this world, that is new, right? Nothing new under the sun, that is innovative, you will realize that the person who pushed it forward had delusional belief in what they were doing. They had delusional belief because that is what they needed to break through the cloud cover. They needed to break through all the resistance that they were facing. And you have a similar resistance. Your resistance is from your past. Your resistance is from years and years and years of negative self-talk. It doesn't have to be addiction. You could be somebody who was in an abusive relationship for a long time. You could have been in an abusive relationship with a narcissistic, gaslighting individual who continually put you down, who told you couldn't accomplish anything. You may have done, although may have been in that sort of relationship, in a horrible environment. You may have been crippled by something physical or mental, and also dealing with an addictive behavior, right? It doesn't matter if you have gotten to a place of equilibrium in your life and you are stable and I don't give a fuck. You're on Instagram one day and you're like, you know what? And you just get this feeling in you that I want this. This content creator created something that inspired me, but I want it. I'm young enough. I can do this. I think I can. My friend, seize that feeling and fuel it with delusion and protect it with delusion. Do it. Get your guys. I came from nothing. I don't think y'all fucking understand. I come from nothing, nada, zero, 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 zero. Right? I drive a nice car. I live in a beautiful place. I own multiple properties. I take vacations that cost me thousands of dollars a day and it doesn't even impact me. I'm able to give back and give and give and give and give to my heart's content. I'm in great shape. My mental health is good. Everything I have, I am incredibly blessed. I'm incredibly grateful. Every day I wake up, and you know what my biggest challenge is? My biggest challenge every day is not to take my life for granted. That is it. That is why I work so hard. That is why I punish myself in the gym. That is why my ass is on the cushion, meditating, putting that 1 hour, putting that 2 hours in. That is why when a client is in front of me, I am going all the fuck out. I just know that I gotta give it my best because I am blessed. That's it. I don't know how the karma thing works. I don't know, and I'm not going to pretend. I just know that I got here, my life is phenomenal, but I was delusional about creating this life for myself. And I just want you to know that you can do the same, right? This was going to be a video for men, but I'll be honest with y'all, over the years, last 2 years, I've been thinking of women too. Right? Because y'all deal with addiction yourself. Y'all deal with abuse. Y'all have a lot of issues that y'all have dealt with. And y'all sometimes even have a tougher, not material box to break out of, but emotional and mental box that you have to break out of. Right? Anyway, that's a story for another day. But Delulu is the message today. I encourage delusion as long as you're not hurting yourself, you're not hurting others, and you are working on yourself. I am a prime example of that. You can do it, all right? I'm JK, your brother in the struggle. Thank you for watching this episode of Porn Reboot Coaching the Porsche, which, by the way, all of these Porn Reboot Coaching the Porsche, Porn Reboot, all of these things, Delulu, completely delusional. Like I said, fucking great idea. Porn Reboot Coaching the Porsche sounds cool as fuck. I'm going to do it. And I have done it. I won't tell you how much I've made, but more importantly, I will tell you this. I won't tell you how much I've made, but I will tell you okay, let me not say how much I've made. Let's just say that close to about 300 men have benefited. When I say benefited, not watched. They have progressed in their reboots to the late stage of their reboots as a result of me sitting in this vehicle and doing this series, all right? That may not mean much to you guys, but to those who struggle with this behavior. And that's because I had this little idea that I was the only person on the planet that was like, this can work, and I did it. Little concept, okay? Yeah, that's all I gotta say. Y'all have a great day. Bye.